Welcome, everyone. We have a good amount of participants already, some more coming in. Let's get started. Good morning, everyone, and good day. Welcome to yet another interesting webinar by Team Leads Digital. It's a different topic today. It's an exciting topic, a blockbuster topic, the world of gaming, which has both changed culturally and technologically. With unprecedented growth and thanks to the millennial workforce, smartphones, broadband connectivity, social media impact, it continues to boom, both in terms of scale and revenue. Today, we have gathered here to discuss some of the key topics of gaming and why it is probably tomorrow's blockbuster. Rising of esports, women game users, increased participation, 5G enabling gaming, high speed, Metaverse, and gaming in Gamification and NLP. These are some of the key topics that we're going to discuss today. For this, we have today esteemed panelists with us that will share their thoughts and view on the subject. Let me first welcome our panelist, Mr. Ninad Chaya, Senior Vice President, Reliance Games. Ninad likes to be called himself a serial entrepreneur and an avid gamer at heart. He has over 25 years of experience in gaming. With Reliance Games, he's currently responsible for strategic alliances, publishing, business development, both at global and Indian level. He oversees scaling the India-focused business verticals to Zapak and interactive media space. Ninad's foray in gaming began when he co-founded India Games, India's first gaming company. Over the years, he has been affiliated with associations like the NASCOM Gaming Forum and the FICCI Animation and Gaming Forum. He is also a member of the Internet and Mobile Association in India, which aims to promote AR and virtual reality technology to drive economic growth. We welcome you to the show, Ninad.
Thank you, Munira.
Our next speaker for the day is Major Vandana Sharma, Head of People, Super Gaming. Major Vandana Sharma, a senior industry leader, having spent 10 years with the Indian Army and currently serving as Head of People with Super Gaming. Vandana brings in 24 years of diverse experience in HR, resource management, general management, and operations. She's been the founder for Startup People Consulting that worked across industries for organizational transformation, new venture setup, innovation, and strategizing. She is also associated as adjunct professor with IIM Kashipur and a known TEDx speaker and acknowledged in 2019 as LinkedIn Top Voice. We welcome you, Major Vandana, to the show.
Thank you, Munira. Thank you, Sunil. Thanks, Team Leads.
Let me quickly introduce Mr. Sunil C., our CEO for Team Leads Digital. Sunil has about 25 years of plus rich experience across diverse industries and geographies. He is also the board member of Indian Staffing Federation, passionate about solving challenges on tech talent, supply to drive India's growth story. His areas of interest include future of work, future of technology, talent strategy, digital business, and transformation. Thank you, Sunil, for hosting the session with us today. Sunil, I guess you're on mute.
Thanks, Munira, and thanks to Vandana and Ninad for accepting our invitation and joining as allied panelists. We are looking forward to learn from you, quite frankly.
So, Sunil, why don't I take this opportunity to request you to throw some light on the segment of gaming in continuation to what our speakers will share their thoughts, and also the Team Leads report that we are set to launch.
Yeah. So quite interestingly, I was just sharing before this session with Vandana and Ninad that I never played a mobile game. So it all started when Munira came and said that we should look at this industry and it's growing. So we said, why not make a white paper and let me also understand what's happening in this industry and how much opportunity this industry can provide to jobs. Because ultimately, TeamLease Digital would like to put more people to work. So that's when we dived deep and did this research, and we are coming up with a white paper shortly. It's almost ready. And some of the interesting facts we found are that there are close to 480 million users or gamers. That's quite astonishing, considering that there are around 502 million smartphone users out of our 1.4 billion population, and around 850 million internet users. So if I have to look at 1.4 billion population, 850 million internet users, 500 million smartphone users, and out of that 480 million are gamers, which means it's 90% people are. And why am I not playing a game? So I was really shocked to know that realize that I have never played a game. Those were some of amazing facts. Then I further dived deep, and we found that there are already 400 plus organizations in this industry in India, and it's a growing industry. We have got 50,000 employees already in this sector, and it is expected to generate another 50,000 jobs by end of next year, which is very near. So by 2023, it's going to employ 1 lakh direct and indirect jobs. That's also an interesting fact, because while there are a lot happening in the job market, this looks to be a sunrise industry. Why is that there are so many jobs? Because the user base is increasing year on year. The industry size is increasing. 14,000 crore is the current industry size, and is expected to grow 2.5x times. 2.5 times it is expected to grow by 2026. And then we further looked at what are the kind of jobs this industry provides. Of course, when gaming, everybody thinks about just building a game on the mobile, but there is a lot goes behind building a game: the conceptualization, the production, the design. Then you have the coders, the developers, testers. So around 30% of the jobs are all tech, but 70% are non-tech. So which is also very interesting understanding, because it opens up jobs across the sector. It's just not the tech people who will get the jobs. There are also non-tech people who will get a job. So which makes it more interesting, because if we have 1 lakh base by next year, 70% are non-tech base and roughly 30% are tech base. And India is very populous, and there is so much happening in this industry. Even if I break the user base, because of the demographic dividend we have, I think around 47-48% of the users are within the age group of 25. And then I also realized that between the age group of 18 to 36, there are people who play the games at least thrice in a week. I am not part of that, however, but I'll soon get on to that. So those are some of the interesting aspects of this gaming paper. We will understand more from Ninad and Vandana as we proceed about the technologies and what's the future of this opportunity. While I also understand that there is a regulatory issue in this field, because there are two types of games. One is game by skill, and the other one is game by choice. I think the game by chance, and I think game by skill is something which is the maximum number of games. However, somewhere I think people understand that it is gambling and it is not a good thing to do, and because of which we are getting a lot of regulatory restrictions. It needs to ease up. Then, of course, you have a GST issue where it is 18% and they are planning to take it to 28%. So there are some regulatory issues, but this happens for every sunrise industry. It takes some time to ease out, but I'm sure that this is an industry which will definitely grow bigger, provide more opportunities. The user base will continue to increase because the application is just not for entertainment. I understand that there are a lot of applications which we would like to hear from you. That's a summary about it. I can go on and on because I have been so passionate after we made this report. I read it at least 5 times as of now. So I started liking and loving this industry. Yeah, over to you, Nida.
Certainly. Thank you so much. Let's look at Ninad's viewpoint, drawing references from the report. Ninad, this industry, as Sunil mentioned, it has grown drastically and it sees no boundaries beyond in the coming years. What are your thoughts about the growth in this industry? What is the outlook of a few years down the line? If I talk about 2025, how do you see opportunities purging and spiking in this segment?
Sure. Thanks, Munira, for that question. And thanks, Sunil, for putting things in perspective. Let me take a step back to looking at the overall global opportunity, right? I mean, gaming has been around globally for almost 60, 70 years now. It started, one of the first few video games was made in the late 1950s and the early 1960s. And if you today look at the overall gaming industry, global gaming industry, it is bigger in terms of revenue as compared to the movie business and music industry combined. So both Hollywood and the global music industry combined is still not as big as gaming. A few months ago, there was this research agency called Data.ai, which was earlier known as App Annie. And they did a survey, they did a report. And if you look at the overall scale, in 2022 alone, the global gaming industry is estimated to be at $222 billion US dollars, right? As compared to what Sunil mentioned that, and also if I correlated to the report which Lumikai came out last week at IGDC, the Indian gaming industry today is at $2.6 billion, right? So we are still a growing industry. We are very small, but that is also because we started much later as compared to the global gaming guys. We started in the late 90s or early 2000s when gaming kind of was in a very infant stage in India. But there is a lot of opportunity. Similar to what Sunil shared, by 2027, the industry in India is supposed to, or estimated to grow 4 times. We will be close to a $8.59 billion industry. And we are predominantly going to be a mobile-first industry in India. Globally, also, if you look at the numbers which I shared, almost 60% of that is mobile gaming, which means almost $130 billion are coming from mobile gaming when you look at it from a global perspective. So there is a lot of opportunity. When I speak about industry, I don't just, as a game developer, as a game publisher, we don't just look at India as a market. Yes, India is a big market, but at the same time, when we build games, we also make it such that they appeal to the global audience as well. So as a publisher, as a developer, if you're looking to get into the gaming industry, yes, build for India, but also look at how that same content will appeal to the world, because that's where the scale will come from. So there are opportunities, and this is just mobile gaming, right? Manira mentioned that esports is another thing, or the recent trend has been Metaverse, where people are looking at the whole AR, VR space. So as we go forward in the next 5 to 10 years, we will see the whole gaming landscape change rapidly. And it is an exciting times to be in. I mean, the timing is right. We are at an inflection point. When I started gaming back in the late 90s, it was a relatively or a pretty unknown territory. I had to convince my father that I want to not become a chemist because I did my post-graduation in organic chemistry and get into gaming. And I got very surprised looks at home. But now parents are also encouraging their kids to get into gaming, which is a very encouraging sign.
I think we have a technical glitch with Ninad. Ninad, I think that's a great point. In fact, the idea that with this industry, for any new coming entrant, it is an important and a direct access to the global platform, because yes, gaming as an industry impacts a lot of allied industries, which means it has a direct implication to advertising, media, e-commerce, fintech, and edtech as well. So that's important. And let's talk and understand from Major Vandana Sharma, considering that from a people standpoint, Vandana, what do you think? Does the increased growth of gaming as an industry build a pressure from a people perspective, talent perspective? What is the future of talent in this industry going to be like?
Thanks, Munira, and great insights from Ninad. And it was fun to hear even Sunil's perspective of how he's, getting into the zone as.
We are going to convert him into a gamer. We are going to convert him into a gamer.
Yeah, and I'll just start with my own journey. Moving into gaming as a professional and a people practitioner happened very recently for me, about a year. So unlike Ninad, who's been a veteran,
We are having technical.
What Ninad mentioned, gaming is bigger than music and movies put together. Now that was insightful, especially for somebody who had never been a gamer. I was a shooter, but real life shooter as a major, not on a. So it was interesting to know, Sunil was mentioning, I want to, because I love storytelling. So I'm going to bring in a fun part of the content. So to be Gen Z, this industry, I think I really love being part of it. And, with everything else that I had done in my life, their friends, oh, okay, your mom has been a major, this, that. But when children told my kids, hey, wow, your mom works for a gaming company, you've got such a cool mom. I finally arrived probably, because the kids were super proud. So jokes apart, yes, this is a great industry, and it's been growing tremendously. Talking about super gaming, our studio, we also hired immensely in the last couple of years. And as you know that we are building all kinds of games, from battle royales and the metaverse games and crypto games. A lot of our hires came in the typical conventional departments of art and tech and game dev. But apart from that, also the new things that have opened up very recently, they are in marketing. So a lot of people who are into content marketing, influencer managers, video editing, a lot of those roles opened up, which were not there conventionally in earlier when we started to hire. It was more of game devs and artists, but now a lot of other roles are opening up. Definitely esport is on the rise, and it started to rise with COVID lockdowns, because people wanted to connect with families. So I think that was the beginning of the growth. So from 2020 to 2021 was itself a huge surge, and it continues to grow. Our studios grew from about 40-50 people to today we are around 150 people, and it's been a very interesting journey. So lots to see as time goes by.
Thanks, Vandana, for sharing insights. In fact, the report also draws reference to say that there has been about a 41% of the employers who have hired massively on game developers, game testers, and similar. At the same point in time, there are about 31% employees who are constantly hiring artists and designers. We also have a report talking about certain demand skill gap in terms of the growth that this industry is immensely looking at, which means that constantly we want to hire job-ready candidates? That's one. How do we attractingly interest the millennials? Because this is an industry which kind of is sporty, effective, impactful, light. So I'm sure the work culture for such industries will also be a bit different. So could you draw some attention for our job seekers in the market, or our new age students who possibly would want to look at it? What are the few things, that they should keep in mind for bearing their hands into this industry?
As you yourself said, it's an industry with very, very young people, and it keeps the offices very vibrant and exciting. So that becomes the number one reason why people should look at gaming as a career. And if you're passionate about gaming, then it's basically what you do in your off time, you're doing at work. So all our game devs are basically people who were passionate about it. And like Ninad said, a lot of them have fought at home initially, but they proved, and now the parents are so proud of them because they have full-fledged, amazing, stellar careers, whether it is in game dev or, even testing, like you mentioned, and 3D, 2D art and all of that. Unfortunately, we don't have too many courses, or universities are not really offering, very, very technical courses, but there are plenty of them available. I guess there's a lot of effort which is needed for all of us to have like public-private partnerships, and the government-owned universities and institutions don't really offer that. But interning at game companies, working on your skills that you're passionate about. And I think the easiest is, because everybody is online, just reaching out through career websites, LinkedIn and all the social media platforms. That's a great way to explore if you're passionate about it. And we are always hiring. We're looking at interns who bring in the talent. So it's really interesting to work with young people, whether they're artists or really interested to build games. And on the job, on the go, you learn so much. So I think the inclination should be to just reach out and continue to be with the community.
I have a follow-up
Fantastic.
question,
Yes.
Vandana, on this. So you mentioned some interesting points that, interns, you hire interns and people can reach out to you. So would want to know that all the interested job seekers, are they gamers, or do you also get non-gamers? How is it?
So Sunil, I think 80 to 90% people should be gamers, I'd say. Reason being, if you're not a consumer, you will not know what you're building. So it's important that you're a gamer. Having said that, it's not necessary, because if you're, for example, a specialist in digital marketing, or marketing, social media, or, just finance or HR, or, there are so many other fields. We don't really need you to play the game, but the opportunities exist. So people can join even if they are not gamers.
Okay, so I have a job.
Yes.
So
For sure.
Sunil and Vandana both are runners. Ninad, we definitely need to build a game on marathon runners, for sure, at least.
Certainly.
Absolutely. So there are actually games, fitness games, where you kind of run. And so there's a very interesting game which I tried in a very brief stint at running, which was called Zombie Run. So you put on your headphones and you hear zombies chasing you, and you have to get from point A to point B to make sure the zombies don't catch up with you.
Oh,
So that's good for me, for people who don't run.
Exactly. Right? And just think about it, you're running with your earphones on, and most runners wear earphones, and you suddenly hear zombies groaning and chasing behind you, and kind of all these weird noises. And the faster you run, the more they fall behind. The sound reduces. So it kind of encourages you to run. Or Pokemon Go. Pokemon Go was one of the most popular fitness apps. Right?
Right.
People walked for miles and miles to chase Pokemons. So there are positives from a gaming perspective, from a health and fitness perspective.
Sunil, that brings an interesting question and thought to my mind. Since you speak and share a lot about tech, and gaming and tech both are correlated. They are hand in glove. It's the chicken and the egg story. What are your thoughts about tech amplifying gaming, and gaming using Metaverse as the power to future game?
My views are that, gaming, while it has become prominent and the industry is growing, in some pockets, people still don't understand how large is the industry and, what are the opportunities. Like me, I just checked with Vandana, are every gamer your job seeker or people from other. Similarly, there are a lot of misunderstandings in the market. So the objective for me is to make it more popular for the job seekers. Again, India as a nation, our curriculums are such that we study something and we do something else. So I don't think that we have enough curriculum developed to by design bring out best gaming talent. So there is a gap there. Maybe the national education policy which is getting rolled out, and if it gets implemented, and if the gaming industry and government and academia work together, we can get more talent into the pipeline. Just looking at the future requirement, even if it is double the size as per our survey, or if I go with Ninad's understanding, it may be more than 3 times or 4 times, because the interest is with him that he can grow further, and with Vandana to grow further. So where do we get the supply? So we always generate the demand much in advance, and there is always a catch up. So can this interestingly, India is in a situation where we have a demographic dividend. We got huge young working population, and I'm assuming that predominantly 90% of the gaming industry are young crowd. So, and the future talent is also going to be young crowd. But if we can make it popular as an industry, if we can do more canvassing of the kind of jobs available, and if we can get the curriculum in place, I'm sure that this is definitely going to be a industry where you will get more talent, will earn more money, and more than that, you will enjoy more, because from the discussions I can see that it's more entertaining. So people would love to go to office and work there and do coding or do whatever is part of the job, but at the same time enjoy the games. Unlike us, where we go to office and we have to do something else, we can't enjoy the games in the office. Yeah, that's my view.
Thank you, Sunil. Ninad, let's understand from you on Metaverse. In fact, you have also shared quite insightful thoughts about this in the report. How is this Metaverse powering the future of gaming? What is the implications and impact it is having on the other allied sectors that are influenced by gaming as an industry?
Sure, Milna. And to kind of address the point you made, right? How does Metaverse get influenced by gaming? I would say gaming has been, as the Gen Z calls, the OG of Metaverse, right? I go back to 2002, like 20 years ago. There used to be a game called The Second Life, right? So what is the Metaverse? If I was to put it very simply, the Metaverse is an immersive, persistent, interactive form of the internet as we know it today. Today on the internet, we surf on a flat 2D screen. In the Metaverse, we will be able to have our own digital avatars, go around, talk to other people, interact with other people, socialize with other people, train with other people. Now, if you look at a massively multiplayer online game, something like a Second Life or Fortnite or Roblox, right? It is exactly that. There are people who create their own avatars. You could be your own digital twin, or you could be like a 900-pound robot, which is like 50 feet tall. You could be anybody you want to. You could interact in that place, you could play games, you could socialize with friends. So gaming has always been at the forefront of the adoption of technology. What was talked about in Second Life is now people, Fortnite is in itself already a platform which is a metaverse. There are concerts happening in Fortnite, right? There are fashion brands launching their labels in Fortnite, Roblox.
I heard that Reebok has launched an advertisement campaign in the Metaverse. Yeah,
exactly. So as we progress, right, as devices get more mass market, Metaverse can be experienced across various touch points. It is not just AR or VR. It is a combination of AR, VR, virtual twins, backed by 5G on a cloud server, on an encrypted blockchain platform. So it is a decentralized So metaverse, a common example I give when I talk about the metaverse is, as a child, I used to watch this cartoon about 6 blind men trying to figure out what the elephant was. Some thought it was a pillar, some thought it was a rope, some thought it was a snake. Likewise, today there are a lot of misconceptions about the metaverse, that, oh, it is only if you have VR headsets can you be in the metaverse. Only if you experience AR can you be in the metaverse. It is a combination of all of that. And as we go forward, it is going to be it is going to be the integral part of our day-to-day lives. We already are using Snapchat filters, we are using Instagram filters. That in itself is sort of the building blocks of metaverse. There are VR games which are used for fitness, which are used for entertainment. Web3 is coming up big time, and a lot of companies, I was looking at some of the reports, and a lot of companies are looking at how Web3 can help building games, right? And Vandana also mentioned that they're doing a lot of work in the Web3 space. Because the whole game economy, so far gamers had to pay to play, right? You had to pay money to play or download the game for free and do in-app purchase. The trend is changing, where you get the play to earn economy is coming to play. So you actually create your own asset in the metaverse or in the Web3 games, which you can trade. So I would have a character which is level 50, and Vandana would have a character which is level 150, and I could go and buy that character, and she could earn money out of that. So the trend is changing, and not just in gaming. Metaverse is going to impact each and every aspect of our life as they go forward, right from retail, lifestyle, manufacturing, everywhere.
I have one follow-up question. I also read about decentral land in the metaverse. So I can own a piece of office or a piece of land or an office in the decentral land. And I read somewhere that JPMC has already bought a office in the decentral land. So it was very confusing for me, saying that in the imaginary world, you are going to buy an office, buy a road, or buy a place. And then if somebody else, and I also heard that people can build a shopping mall in a decentral land. And if you are entering into the shopping mall and you are buying something, then you pay. So how do you imagine all these things and how does it work? It's so interesting and so confusing for me.
Yeah, it is pretty interesting, right? I mean, and it is like the early days of the internet. And so there will be a lot of these activities happening in the metaverse. I mean, a metaverse Shadi took place last year in India. Metaverse Holi was celebrated. So a lot of people try. Some of it is gimmick. Some of it has tangible use cases. But yeah, so if you look at it earlier, right? I mean, just let's say 30 years ago, if you had to buy something, buy a shoe, we would go to a retail store.
Yeah.
Thanks to now e-commerce players, we are able to buy it right from our phone. Right? When 30 years ago, nobody would have thought of that. Same way, right? Metaverse would be the same thing. I mean, with smart glasses coming in, you would be able to just put on the glasses, go to any store, or have the same webinar with holograms of all of us in the metaverse talking to each other, right? And so it is basically adoption of devices and technology as it grows. It will change the way we do things. I mean, mobile telephones changed brought about change in communication in late 90s and early 2000s, right? Smartphones changed that in 2010 onwards. So with headsets like the Oculus Quest 2 or the HoloLens or even the Apple Smart Glass, which is coming up, things are going to change. And all this we see actually in the movies, right? If you've seen the movie The Minority Report, it is based on a book which was written in 1950s.
Yeah.
The movie came out again in 2002, and it predicted about a lot of these technologies which happened. The movie was set in 2050. Yes. And it had self-driving cars, it had AI-based crime detection, it had augmented reality, it had personalized digital advertising. So it is already coming together over here. So yeah, I mean, metaverse is real, it is happening.
Even the shopping experience is going to change, I guess. My digital twin can wear a shoe in a metaverse environment and know whether it fits me or not, so that I need not go to a shop, is it?
Absolutely. Right?
And I just wanted to add that, for Sunil, that probably you could have an avatar which is more stylishly dressed and wearing more expensive clothes than the real you. In metaverse,
Not that you are not stylish, Sunil.
I take it with a pinch of salt. No worries.
Vandana, while Ninadis and Sunil are talking about the drastic changes and implications that Metaverse will bring to this, and the report also speaks about that 40% of the skills today are likely to change in the year 2025. Do you see this building a pressure on HR community, on people, on talent to kind of meet the future skills in gaming? What are your thoughts on it?
To be honest, Munira, while it is growing in the country, like I was saying earlier also, our challenge is that our universities don't offer programs. So the kind of skill which is available in the country is not fully meeting up with the requirements that we have today. And if you see other countries like Philippines and Vietnam, there is a big talent pool at very, very affordable cost. So if you look at it globally, it does become difficult for HR fraternity to hire the right kind of talent within the country. And which is why, it becomes important for people like us to talk about it in forums like these, to say that there is a necessity for our university curriculums to start supporting all the skills that are needed for the gaming industry. And we all need to sort of talk about it and encourage more skill building and training so that it becomes easier. We can hire globally and from overseas, but it becomes a lot more expensive proposition today. So definitely there is a huge challenge. The other challenge also becomes in terms of locations, right? Now, since a lot of these roles have become global and flat, the accessibility of people has also become more for us. So if people in the country are not skilled or phenomenal enough, the same jobs may go elsewhere. So those are some of the things that I wanted to talk about from the people who are interested in the industry to sort of work hard on excelling in their skills. And the areas that typically as recruitment or as people practitioners we sort of struggle with are the game design, game developers, and game art. There is a lot that goes on to sort of first of all acquire them and then retain that talent, because the way it's growing globally, the demand is immense, and a lot of lucrative jobs are available globally, not just in India.
That takes me to an interesting point with Sunil about gamification and learning, which means we now have gamification at work, we have gamification at school, and it is going to be part of the immersive learning. Sunil, how do you see this impacting areas of productivity? Do you see organizations, adapting more towards gaming in L&D? What are your views on it?
See, it's already happening in the L&D. A lot of things which I know how difficult it is to get the audience for a training program, get them into a classroom and train it. I think as HR practitioner, Vandana would vouch for it. You don't get people attending the training programs, but if we gamify a training program, I'm sure people will be more interested. Otherwise, who would want to come and listen to me or to somebody else on talking about our experience or some new technology or some new ideas? But if it is something which you explore, you try it, and then you get some bonus by learning or crossing one stage, I have seen that the younger crowd particularly are very interested, and even the senior people are also intrigued to know how it works. It's like, I have seen that the smartwatch company, recently I saw one of the every time you cross a milestone, you get more kick, and you are doing it because these are all in a way game only. They are interacting with you through a device. So maybe another topic, maybe cyborg, so which is also very interesting. I am reading about cyborg, so something like that. I see that in the enterprises, in the L&D space, there is a lot of opportunity, and already there are a lot of gamification of learning which has already happened. And gaming industry is not just about entertainment, is what I learned, there is a lot more than entertainment. It is there in L&D. It is there in, as Ninad was sharing, it is also there in sports. If I want to increase my speed, or if I want to compete with somebody else, elite marathoner, probably gaming is a way. I can't go and meet him, but I can visualize through a game. So that's the future, I would say.
No, absolutely. So, and I would like to add, and learn from Ninad, saying that we're talking about almost the 32% of growth of gaming in education by 2023. Is the industry or the gaming fraternity ready to kind of look at this upgrade?
So, Monica, the gaming fraternity has always been ready. I think the world caught up with us.
Yes.
World has to be ready.
Yes, world has to be ready.
I remember my early geography lessons in the early 80s, right, were through a game called Where the World is Carmen Sandiego. It was a DOS-based game where you played an Interpol agent and you had to chase Carmen Sandiego, who was a criminal. And as you chased her, you would get, Carmen is now in the land of the midnight sun. Can you guess where she is? And you had three options. Or Carmen is in the, so you could say, okay, she's in Oslo, Norway, and then you chase her. So gamification in education, right, from early stage education to corporate, right, has always been there. I have conducted workshops where instead of getting them points of gamification, I said, hey, do you guys play Counter-Strike? That's like the perfect example of teamwork. There are 5 different people in a team with different skill sets. One is a sniper, one possibly is kind of the guy who goes and captures the flag, right? Or one has to go and find and defuse the bomb. So team play or teamwork comes through that. Or if you play a game like Age of Empires, it is all about managing your resources and building an empire. So gaming, it's how you interpret the fundamentals of gaming and convert it into tangible learning action items is what gamification is about. And a step further is where technologies like augmented reality and virtual reality come in. Right now, think about in the medical field, you are teaching doctors how to operate. Now, there is a shortage of cadavers, right? But with virtual reality, if you put on your headset, you can actually simulate every different experience. Or one of them has been in the army, right? A lot of these war-like situations can be simulated where you're taught how to react to a particular situation. Yeah. The US Army has actually commissioned Microsoft to acquire the Microsoft HoloLens to train its US Marines. So gamification is there. Gaming industry is ready. We are just waiting for the world to come to us and build out good solutions.
I think we also have the new education policy 2020 now, drafting the shift from role learning just to replacing it by innovation and experimental methods, which probably kind of increase. And the report says where 67% of the students feel that learning through gaming is more immersive, more encouraging, and a better experience. Having said that, then, Vandana, do you see that the future talent to deliver to these areas of at work and at educational level will require hirings to be driven with trainers having immersive experience in gaming or L&D deliverable people having experience in this industries? How do you see this fitment?
I'll fully agree with both Sunil and Ninad to say that gamification is the way forward, and especially for education. I just want to give example of, say, if you want to learn a language, I think apps like Duolingo, make it so much easier for people to learn a new language. Or my favorite educational app is TED, which is so beautiful in the way it engages you and you learn so much through the app. So this is a very personal experience I'm talking about. It applies to the employees also when we are trying to run programs. So anybody who's a learner or a trainer who comes with the expertise of knowing how to gamify a different kind of methodology, or bring in a lot of experience where we can gamify things and teach the content, I think it's very, very immersive. It just makes it very, very easy for all of us to absorb better, I'd say. So definitely that's the way forward. I guess it's the way forward for all L&D departments across various industries to sort of gamify their learning departments. It's a need.
Wonderful, sure. I have an interesting question for all three of my speakers here, and this is basically that it surprised me to know that women in gaming, is a 40% participation at the user level, which means one of the highest industries where the consumers is a diversity segment. What is the future like, as a woman, as a diversity applicant, for me as a user and as a developer or a designer? How do I see myself making a career in this industry, considering it will give me the element of fun, the element of balancing my work life, and also with an aspect of creating something, so where women are considered to be the best creators for everything. So I would like to ask all three of you your views on this subject. Maybe we can start with you, Vandana. Yeah.
Okay, women first. All right. So I like you said, statistically, women gamers are almost 45% of the composition. And while the users have been there, the people making games were not so many. But that's changing. Like all industries where women have been a minority in the past, now we do see a lot of women joining, all the gaming companies as game devs, and not just artists. A typical stereotype is that, if there's a woman in a gaming company, probably she'll be an artist. Or in HR or one of those functions. But the fact that now we have a lot of QAs, we have game devs, we have, in fact, at Super Gaming, one of our co-founders, the VP engineering, is a woman. So we definitely take pride in saying that to bring in a lot of diversity across industry and a great perspective, there's a necessity to have women. Now, even if you see, there was always been the fact that women dress a certain way in games. So the moment you have more women on board on gaming applications and games that are being built, you start questioning a lot of those stereotypes and you start designing things from a more equal point of view. So I'd say that it is happening slowly and steadily like any other industry. And the future is good. It's bright.
Nina, you go first.
Okay. So yeah, I completely resonate with what Vandana mentioned, that we need and we need to encourage more women to come into gaming. For a very long time, she's right that the industry roles were more for a game artist or HR or marketing, client servicing. But now increasingly we are hiring, and we are also making a conscious effort to hire women also, right, on game development or production or data analysts. I mean, we have a few data analysts who are because women bring together a very brilliant blend of creativity and an analytical thought approach. And that's what you need in gaming, right? It's a combination of both of these approach. And if you are making games to target the almost 50% gaming population, it needs that kind of aesthetics to build a game from that perspective, right? Game design, I mean, for a very long time, gaming was a male-dominant industry.
Yeah.
To an extent, it still is, but we are changing that, right? If I have to make a game where I need to target female gamers, how much ever a guy might try, it's going to be difficult. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it's going to be difficult for them to get that thought process of a female gamer. It reminds me of the film by Mel Gibson, What Women Want, right? I mean, you need to start thinking, you need to get into the psyche of your user to create games that appeal to them. So I think the industry is making conscious effort to get female game devs on board. There are special interest groups to promote women in gaming, right? We last week at IGBC there was a panel discussion on women in gaming, and then they had a lot of good insights come on board. GDC, which is a global game developer conference, they always have these sessions to focus on how women can grow in the gaming industry. But it needs to go down to the grassroots level, right? Yeah. We have Mulgi Shikli Pragati Zali. We need to have Mulgi Gamer Bandi Pragati Zali. And that's how we kind of need to go about. I mean, we need to start at the school level on saying gaming is not bad. gaming is good. Gaming can actually help create new careers.
Yeah.
So from my perspective, there are 2-3 points I would like to make. One is the participation of women in workforce in the technology is the highest. In the technology sector, you have at least 33% compared to other overall sector, which is only below 20%. And the supply side also, we see that there are more women taking up STEM courses now than in the past. So you have the supply which is building up, and you also have the participation of women which is increasing. 33% is still not good. It should go up. Compared to the Western worlds, our participation is very less. Why not 50 or 60? It can be. So that's one. And second is that I also understand that a lot of the gaming companies are geography agnostic. They allow people, good coders and good developer to work from anywhere. So that's another area which a lot of industries struggle. But here is a platform, or here is an industry where I think women who take break and who want to come back to the workforce, or women who would want to work from a different geography can take up. So there are a lot of positive cues which can help to improve the women participation. So there is no stopping. As Vandana said, we and Nina explained, we would want to see more women participation. There is supply, there is intention, there is fun, and there is opportunity. So definitely the women participation in the future will increase in this sector. The last point I want to make is that predominantly the user base has a higher men population, because the games are also a lot of earlier games, I understand, are more male dominated. So it's a message that we need to get more women games. That doesn't mean that I'm saying that they can't play the men game, but still I think there needs to be some more games which will make them attracted to this addiction, or whatever you said, to this industry. Yeah, those are my views.
Oh, absolutely. Thank you, Sunil. Thank you very much. Thank you to Ninad and Vandana for sharing their insights and thoughts. We have a lot of questions coming up on the Q&A segment. We will try to answer most of them, but for the benefit of the audience, if at all we've not been able to pick them up now, we will revert back to you separately. So we'll pick up a few questions, and a few questions have come with selecting their own. Ninad, there is a question for you where one of our audience wants to know that when we talk about Metaverse, will QA be a good job opportunity or a career in Metaverse to look at?
Absolutely. Like I mentioned in one of my points earlier, the Metaverse is going to be an extension of what we are doing currently. Right? If we are, even from a gaming industry perspective, if we are building a game, we need developers, artists, designers, QA. We will need QA, especially in the Metaverse, because we need to make sure that the experience of that the user has in the virtual world is good, seamless, and fun and engaging. And if you ask me, for even in gaming, for us, QA is the last bastion before the game goes out to the market. Right? They are our sentries at the border who protect the gaming team, because once the game is out there in the hands of the user, if they find a bug, the experience becomes really uncalled for. And so QA plays a very, very key role both in gaming and going forward even in the Metaverse.
Thank you, Ninad. Major Vandana, I think you can possibly answer this question. Our audience would like to know that when the panelists are speaking about the skill shortages in general overall with this industry, what can industry and education do to help resolve certain issues?
I'd say the first being awareness, because it's a new industry, and because there's a lot of catch-up happening. Like I mentioned, the structured courses and degrees that are possibly needed to meet the skill gap are not available right now. So it's an opportunity for the government, for the public-private partnerships, for a lot of colleges to start curriculum which meets the skill gap. And that's for the governance and the industry. But for a job seeker, I'd say to make a beginning in this space, maybe the beginning level, in gaming you have level 1, 2, 3, 4, right? So level 1 could be just going online and doing some certifications and courses which are available. And also, if you have the bandwidth and it's possible for you, a lot of online courses are available in universities overseas. So that could be the immediate solution for today's job seeker. But if things change and we have better courses available within the country, I would always say, yes, why not do it in the country? And apart from that, also, it does not necessarily need you to do a lot of education. This is a passion and skill-based industry. So I'd say if you have it in you, just build.
Should it be only engineers or anybody can pick up?
Have the right mentors. You have to be an enthusiast, and you do need the technical skills, I'd say, which you will need to develop. But apart from that, definitely, if you have the passion and you've been a player, you know what exactly is needed in that particular game. So it's trainable. It's possible for anybody to pick up at any age. It is not age bound. And yeah, I think there are a lot of opportunities. So another thing could be connecting with people who are already in gaming. So on your career sites, on social media, follow companies that you're passionate about, the kind of games they build. We keep talking about Indus, which is a battle royale we are building, and it is about India. So it's very, very exciting if somebody is enthusiastic about how a battle royale is built or how the whole game development happens. It's exciting for them to just be the part of the journey. That brings in a lot of insight about things are done or people who are already building it, how they go about, how the playtests are done, what are the things that are being done. Just be part of the journey, and that brings in the inspiration to do.
Thanks. So you were mentioning something.
Have I covered?
Yeah. Yes, absolutely.
Well, I was just checking with Vandana. Should the job seekers be only engineers or anybody? She already answered that. I think whoever has passion and whoever wants to learn can get into this industry. There is no basic qualification or a criteria. That answers my question. Yeah.
Okay. Sunil, we have a question from one of the audiences asking, saying that, are we going to extend our report and research paper on gaming to colleges, universities, and education institutions who can possibly make it more aware and kind of circulate it to the upcoming students and training institutes as well?
Why not? It has to start from charity, has to start from home. Similarly, the supply has to start from colleges. So if we can go and let them know about this industry, we might even take help from Ninad and Vandana to join us in some of these colleges to do a small program, because as we all recognize that this industry requires more canvassing and we need more supply to come in. So we can share with all the colleges and universities the report, and we can even get experts to talk to interested students there. If not today, they would once they pass out, or some of them can even do interns, can be interns when they're in the final year, so that they are readily employable when they pass out. So we are keen to do that.
We have a lot of questions, but in the interest of time, I'm going to take one last question, which also is a important eye-opener for this session, where we speak about the increased importance of cybersecurity. Considering we're talking about metaverse and technologies and gaming and learning and gamification, I'd like to hear from both Ninad and Vandana. What is your take on the increased aspects and functions of cybersecurity in gaming, which means, do we need more cybersecurity people? Also, we have read, in fact, the Team Leads Digital got covered in a story very recently with Mint, where we spoke about saying that, cybersecurity talent in gaming is one of the best talent when it comes to cybersecurity. So what are your thoughts?
Vandana, go ahead.
I guess definitely it's an important area, and in addition to HR and finance and marketing and everything else I talked about, this is a career which is available for people in gaming also. definitely there is a need, and there are regulatory, we were discussing initially also about it, right? There are a lot of things which are still building up. So don't think we have all this in today's world, but again, it's an area which is open for kind of start the career. There is a lot of potential to in this space also. So that makes a great case for people to join cybersecurity for Metaverse as well as the gaming industry.
So so I think Vanna put it quite well, and cybersecurity definitely plays a key role. Even in the current form of the internet, we are seeing a lot of cyber scams being done, cyber fraud, or even cyber bullying. Right? People are kind of bullying each other in be it in gaming or be it in the cyberspace. With Metaverse, it becomes a lot more personal and immersive. Right? You are having a virtual avatar, and there was actually a case in the US where somebody's virtual avatar was harassed physically in the Metaverse. And the person could actually see that happening but could not react. And that person had to then leave that Metaverse platform and get out of that. So all the more, there are boundaries which need to be set. Like we set boundaries in the real world society, there are laws and there are regulations, and yet crime happens. I'm not saying it's going to be completely foolproof, but at the same time, there needs to be a regulatory body, and including all the tech companies involved, the stakeholders involved, the lawmakers involved, to create these cybersecurity guidelines, which people need to follow when they're interacting, be it in gaming or be it in Metaverse. So it is important, and people who are looking to make a career, like you said, Munira, that gamers make the best cybersecurity because that's where the good hackers come from. Right? Gaming typically also has some of the best hackers. So from that perspective, it becomes important for people to look at cybersecurity in a very serious manner.
And particularly when it is a connected devices, and you are also probably using some payment platforms to buy a game or to use it in the game. On the skill games, we are not touching on the chance games or luck games, but still I think there is every chance that there will be impersonators, there will be ghosts, and there are a lot of terminologies which I read. So in the gaming world, there are different avatars who can make you go crazy. So I think cybersecurity is a very, very important aspect. Like all other connected devices, this also requires equal attention. And as this industry is in the nascent stage, though I know Ninad will not agree, but still we need more cybersecurity experts, I think. Yeah.
Absolutely. Thank you. Thank you very much, all of you. It has been an interesting session. This is one of the sessions where you have the maximum question, the maximum participants. I'm sure if there's more and more coming in, I would humbly request all the audience to kindly be patient, and we would love to answer each and every question personally back to you. We will also read out and share your questions with our panelists so that they can give you their answers. You can be connected with us on the various platforms of LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We have a live streaming of this webinar, which was interesting. I think while all of you were talking, all the Candy Crush and the Subway Surfers, reflections coming back to each and every one of us. So very interesting. We spoke about how this industry is expected to grow today and 5 years down the line. What are the skill sets that will stay here, the skill sets that need to be upgraded and reskilled. We would also speak about in the next session in terms of the retention, talent attrition, and I'm sure we will go through those same areas of tech to non-tech and areas of where we need to look at rebuilding and reshaping this industry. I think, in my opinion, this industry has a very large impact on many segments other than just gaming itself, which means probably the other segments in the near future may want to look at a lot of talent of experience which comes from immersive gaming. For the audience's benefit and for our panelists, Please stay tuned to our upcoming paper launch very shortly in the November month. The entire paper will be available for your download. You can please follow us on LinkedIn and other platform channels. For now, we'd like to take your leave before we come back with yet another interesting subject. Thank you very much, Ninad, for being a great audience, a great mentor to all of us today with this industry. Thank you, Major Vandana, for sharing your thoughts and views. We loved your t-shirt, by the way, that talks about super gaming. Thank you, Sunil, so very much for bringing out this paper to our audience, for sharing the industry insights. I think it's the correct time, which is what Ninad mentioned right in the beginning, for someone to read about this. Most of our job seekers will make benefit out of this, is what we hope so. Thank you very much, all of you. Have a great day.
Thanks, Vandana. Thanks, Ninad.
Thank you so much.
Thank you, Munira.